Arabia, the New York Times and others are reporting that many of the police are now not just hugging and giving their water, which doesn't sound like a lot here, it's a lot there with the population near starvation. And now it's confirmed Mubarak has called out the military to start just shooting people. And the same thing happened with Ceausescu, and then now the police and the military are going to start shooting back. So this happens over and over again throughout history. It's touch and go what's going to happen. But this is a very explosive situation with the Suez Canal going through that region. But I tell you, Mubarak, it looks like, is in serious danger of being overthrown right now, Wayne-Madsen.
I would say so, and I think what the U.S. Should be also concerned about is who's next. We got to remember that the U.S. has been supporting this Saudi regime for a number of years, mostly over oil, and the eastern province of Saudi Arabia has a majority Shia population. If you see them rise up, their natural ally is Iran. What is the United States going to do then? Try to fight Israel's war in Iran and Saudi Arabia? I mean, I think this also sends a message to Israel that things in their neighborhood are changing, and the Palestinians are also watching what's going on. They know that some of their leaders were, from these Palestine papers that were released, some of their own leaders were willing to give too much away.
And remember what happened 3.5 years ago in Lebanon in that several-month war. The main armor columns got beaten. The helicopters got beaten by actually trained people that were in their anti-tank dugouts and were ready to fight to the death. I mean, this is a serious situation. How do you see this affecting energy prices? Gold's exploding. I see oil's going up right now.
Well, let's look at the energy countries. There's a thought that Algeria may be next. Of course, that's a big supplier of natural gas to the U.S. If Saudi Arabia goes, well, there's the price of oil. I mean, the eastern provinces, that's where the oil is. That's where the refineries are. That's where the tankers pull in to load up. So we could see a huge increase in oil prices if this Arab revolt.
And we know what the British and the U.S. have done before. If these Arab uprisings take over those ports, I think you're going to see U.S. Special Forces sent in to try to secure it, and that's going to be an unbelievable bloodbath.
Oh, absolutely. If U.S. Special Forces, and we don't know whether the U.S. has a strategic relationship with Egypt. We don't know if the U.S. is in there giving them advice, and if an American Special Forces or CIA agent is caught anywhere near advising the Mubarak government, they're going to be hanging from a lamppost in Cairo, Alexandria, or Port Said.
And that will supercharge the rebellion.
Oh, yeah, but what we'll hear in this country is just like this thug that shot these two guys in Pakistan who claims he's a diplomat. It sounds like he's a Blackwater guy. People around the world getting fed up with these overpaid people that we send to these other countries, military, civilian, or otherwise. They live like kings while
the Army. I mean, I've had Army officers on. They are totally sick of them. And all those rumors we heard 5, 6, 7 years ago about Blackwater are now in federal court. Blackwater on cocaine, running around naked in the streets at night, shooting up people's cars for fun. It turns out that's coming out in federal lawsuits.
Well, right, and then we've got this pencil sharpener, General Petraeus, who runs around like he's some sort of American proconsul, saying, who elected him to be anything in Afghanistan or Pakistan or anywhere else? The guy, the only combat injury he ever had was probably a paper cut.
All right, stay there, Wayne. We're going to do 5 more minutes with you, then I'm getting into all the other news. Well, Wayne-Madsen's our guest, formerly with the NSA and, of course, in the Navy. Syndicated columnist, reporter on national security issues. And he's basically concurring with my analysis. I'm seeing a lot of other people claim that the West is behind this. This does not fit into their overall strategy. Paul Joseph Watson has an article dealing with this at prisonplanet.com. Brzezinski feared global awakening has arrived. Monumental worldwide rallying cry for freedom threatens to derail New World Order agenda. This is not just a Muslim thing, as the media is trying to say. Look at these Muslim extremists. These are people starving to death, folks. The IMF, the globalists do have something to do with it. It's by ordering these countries to pay more and more on debts, ordering the countries in shock therapy to cut back on their food stamps when close to half the population's on them in Egypt alone, ordering the further dollar devaluation, which you see more overseas than domestically, so things cost more for them because even though they have their own currency, it's based in dollars. Wayne, in closing, where do you see this headed from your geopolitical research? I mean, how do you see this unfolding? And do you agree with Watson's article that the global awakening really has arrived?
Oh, yes. I think there's, the genie's out of the bottle now, and they won't be able to put it back in. I think what we're seeing now in Lebanon, you've got a government the U.S. doesn't like, but clearly it's a coalition government, and it also includes Hezbollah, which we don't want to deal with. I think based on the Palestine papers, that's only going to increase the popularity of Hamas. We've got to deal with these. This is a situation, the real politics situation, to keep calling Hezbollah and Hamas terrorist organizations and acting like they're not there is ridiculous. We're also going to be faced with these new governments in Tunisia, which is changing every day. They want all the old vestiges of the U.S. and French-imposed regime gone. We may have a new government in Egypt. We may have South Yemen and North Yemen after the revolution there. We're going to have to deal with the situation as it exists. And if the U.S. wants to start sending special forces into those countries, well, you know what? The body bags are going to keep coming back, and they're going to increase in numbers. And that's not. And we don't want to hear from Obama that that's a just war, because if we impose ourselves in these countries, that's not a just war. That's imperialism at its worst, and we should get what's coming to us.
Well, again, when we say get what's coming to us, this isn't our country. We're run by these offshore banks that have created $1.5 quadrillion in derivatives and say that we owe this money. As you said earlier, we don't owe this. On record, we could cut every social program out there, and it wouldn't pay 1/10 of what these bankers say is we got to do what Ron Paul said. Just like when an individual goes bankrupt, we've got to write all this so-called debt that the bankers have had to sign onto globally, all these foreign bailouts, write it off in the foreign aid, pull our military out of Iraq and Afghanistan, and pull it all in. But the bankers just are telling us with austerity, cut all of our programs here so that even more money can go to them.
Yeah, we got to, this defense budget has to be slashed dramatically, too. We don't need 50 bases in Germany. We don't need, a half dozen or more bases in Okinawa and South Korea and these other locations. We need to bring these bases back. We can't afford it. It's just prolonging the American hegemon, and this is a failed empire, and we have to understand it's a failed empire, and we have to, start. We got to stop acting like we're the Roman Empire here. We can't afford it. There's no sense in us having these. What is it? We have bases in 170 countries, something like that. It's ridiculous. Yeah,
there's over 3,000 bases total overseas in 170-plus countries, and it's only expanding. And again, it's not even our empire. We don't even like the British. Some of the British people actually got spoils from it. We pay for it. We get the bad name. Then they use the hatred worldwide as a reason to set a police state up here. It's unbelievable. wayne-madsen-report.com. Our website's infowars.com. There's been some huge developments in Cairo, explosions, gunfire. Wayne Madsen, thanks for joining us.
You bet.